Hi everyone, this is Beck from the Twisting Twine. Welcome to this video tutorial on how to make the Aurora Infinity Scarf. The materials that you will require for this project are an L11 or 8mm crochet hook and approximately 150 meters or 164 yards of super bulky or super chunky yarn. Okay, we'll start off with a slip knot and then we proceed to chain 15. You don't want to do it too tight. I have gone with an 8mm hook, which is slightly smaller than what you might typically use for a super bulky or a super chunky yarn. I wanted it to be a fairly sort of tight looking stitch. So feel free to pause and do the remainder of your chain stitches and catch up when you're ready to do the first row. So once you've got your 15 chain stitches, we're going to do our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So yarn over and insert your hook through that chain, drag your yarn through and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, drag that yarn through the first 2 loops on your hook, like this, and then you've got 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over again and drag that yarn through both of those loops. And that is your first double crochet for the row. Time for the second double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook through the next chain directly next to our previous double crochet, like this. Yarn over and drag that yarn through. You've got your 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and drag through the first 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and drag through the final 2 loops on your hook. And there is your second double crochet for your row. We continue this process of double crochet in each of the remaining chains for our row to give us a total of 12 double crochets, making up our entire first row of our Aurora Infinity Scarf. Feel free to pause the video, complete your first row and catch up, restart the video when you're ready to start the second row. So this is what the first row of your infinity scarf should look like, your first row of double crochet. You should have a total of 12 stitches. For your second row of double crochet, to start you chain 3, 2, 3, turn your work, and we're going to insert our hook into that very first stitch, the one directly next to our chain stitches. Now this time you're inserting your hook through the stitch, the double crochet from the previous row, so you've actually got 2 loops that you need to get through, as opposed to when you're just putting it through a chain stitch, you've only got the one. So making sure that you get it through both. Exactly the same process as previously for your double crochet. So you yarn over, drag your yarn through those first 2 loops, yarn over, drag your yarn through those final 2 loops, and there's your double crochet. And you continue with this process. So into the very next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, drag through the first 2 loops, 1, 2, yarn over, drag through those next 2 loops, and there's your double crochet. And that's what it should be looking like. Continue this process for the remainder of this row. Feel free to pause the video and restart when you're at the end of your second row. We'll just make sure that you're getting that final stitch in the right place. Okay, so I've just slowed down the speed of this bit of the film so I can show you just where to put that last double crochet. You're placing it just here in the very top of those chain stitches from your very first row before you did your first double crochet. So just inserting your hook through there, and then the rest of it is just doing a regular old double crochet stitch, but just making sure that you've got it in that correct spot. And then this is what your 2 rows of double crochet should look like. You should have a nice straight edge on both sides. Remembering that your total number of stitches is going to be 12. So let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. So we can also count the stitch posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to get the right number of stitches. This chain stitches at the very beginning of that row does not count as a stitch. So when you are going back and looking at your stitch posts as a method of checking, where maybe you've made a mistake or to double check that you've got the right number of stitches, you don't count that 3 chain at the very beginning of the row as a stitch. Each row from now is a repeat of the second row. Chain 3, double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row, and making sure that you're maintaining 12 stitches in each row. The length of the scarf is completely up to you. Long enough to loop twice around your neck at least, but not that you feel like you're being strangled by your scarf. Restart this video when you're happy with the length of your scarf and you're ready to crochet the ends together. So the last stage of creating your Aurora Infinity Scarf is crocheting the ends together. We should have our 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then on the starting end of our project, we'll have our 12 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just to give you an idea of basically what we're looking for when we're starting to do our slip stitches. When we're creating the slip stitch, we're actually only doing a slip stitch through the front loop. So we've got our 2 loops here, 1 and then 2. This one here is the front one. So that is what we'll be doing our slip stitch through, completely ignoring that back loop. Our first slip stitch is just going to be through this very end little chain, just to join our 2 sides together. So yarn over, drag through the first loop, drag through the second loop. That's your slip stitch done. From now we're going to do it through each chain. So through the chain stitch from our original first side, the beginning of our project, then through that front loop, ignoring that back loop that I've just got under my finger there. Yarn over and drag through both of those stitches and then under that loop that you've got on your hook. Hook through the original chain, then through the front loop of that double crochet stitch, yarn over, drag through, and then dragging through that other loop on your hook. And we're continuing with this process all the way down our join, and this is our seam for our scarf. So through that chain, through the front loop, yarn over, drag through both of those stitches, and then slipping it through under that loop on our hook. And we continue this until you get to the bottom of your join. Feel free to pause, take as long as you need to complete this section, because you want your join to work. You want it to look nice and even. And feel free to restart once you've completed, and I'll show you how to finish off. So as we come to the very last slip stitch, it just goes through that very last chain to bring both of the ends together, like so. And then this is what it should look like. So this is your I guess, your wrong side, your inside of your scarf, the part that you'll have resting against you. And it's quite difficult to actually see the join when you're looking from the outside or the right side of your scarf. So then you're just going to snip your end and sew that long end in so that it's also invisible, and you're done. Thank you for joining me in making the Aurora Infinity Scarf. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please check out our crochet patterns and crochet basic tutorials on both our website, The Twisting Twine, and our channel. Happy crocheting!